Subscribe now and ring that notification bell to journey with us through the mystical tales of Africa. Listen closely, children of the earth, for I shall tell you a tale that flows like the ancient rivers of our motherland. In the heart of Morocco, where the Atlas Mountains kiss the sky and the desert winds carry whispers of old magic, there lived a young woman named Amara. Amara was as beautiful as the morning star, with skin like polished mahogany and eyes that sparkled like the diamonds hidden in Kimberley's depths. She was a spice merchant's daughter, but her heart yearned for something beyond the familiar walls of her father's shop in the Medina. On this particular night, when the moon hung full and silver above Marrakesh like a guardian's eye, Amara found herself drawn to the legendary Midnight Market. The elders spoke of this mystical bazaar in hushed tones, a place that appeared only when the clock struck 12, where traders from across Africa gathered to sell not just goods, but dreams, memories, and pieces of the soul itself. As she wrapped her indigo shawl around her shoulders, breathing in the familiar scents of cinnamon, cardamom, and rose petals that clung to her clothing, Amara's grandmother, Mama Khadija, caught her arm with fingers weathered by decades of wisdom. "Child," the old woman whispered, her voice like rustling baobab leaves, "remember what our ancestors taught us. The heart that seeks truth will find it, but only when it is ready to be found. Be careful what you wish for in the midnight market, for wishes granted there come with a price. But young hearts are like rivers, they must flow where destiny calls them." Amara kissed her grandmother's wrinkled cheek and stepped into the moonlit streets of Marrakesh. The city transformed before her eyes as midnight approached. The usual bustling sounds of the day faded into an otherworldly silence, broken only by the distant call of the muezzin and the soft padding of her leather slippers against ancient stones. The familiar scents of her father's spices seemed to dance in the air, growing stronger and more intoxicating with each step. Call to action. What do you think Amara will find in the mysterious midnight market? Drop your predictions in the comments below. As the great clock of the Kutubia Mosque began to chime 12 times, the air around Amara shimmered like heat waves over the Sahara. One by one, new stalls began to materialize from the shadows, vendors selling bottled moonbeams, woven clouds, and jars of captured laughter. The midnight market had begun. And there, across the mystical bazaar, standing beside a stall displaying the most beautiful textiles she had ever seen, stood a tall stranger with skin dark as rich coffee and eyes that held the depth of the Congo River. Their gazes met across the crowded market, and Amara felt her heart skip like a stone across water. The stranger smiled, and in that smile, she saw her destiny beginning to unfold. The mysterious stranger moved toward Amara with the grace of a gazelle crossing the savannah. His name, she would soon learn, was Kwame, a master weaver from Ghana whose hands could spin stories into silk and dreams into golden thread. He wore robes of deep kente cloth, their patterns telling the history of his ancestors, and around his neck hung an amulet shaped like Sankofa, the bird that looks backward while moving forward. "Beautiful daughter of the Atlas," Kwame said, his voice rich like aged honey. "I have traveled from Kumasi, following a dream that led me to this very moment. In my vision, I saw a woman whose spirit shone like the evening star, standing in a market that exists between worlds." Amara's heart fluttered like a caged bird suddenly set free. "And what did this dream tell you to do when you found her?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Kwame's eyes twinkled with ancient wisdom. "It told me to offer her this." He reached into his leather satchel and withdrew the most exquisite piece of cloth Amara had ever seen. It seemed to contain the very essence of Africa, sunset oranges that reminded her of the Sahara at dusk, deep blues like the waters of Lake Victoria, and gold threads that sparkled like the treasures of Mali's ancient kingdoms. "This is no ordinary fabric," Kwame explained, his fingers tracing the intricate patterns. "It is woven from the dreams of our ancestors, blessed by the spirits of the great rivers and imbued with the power to show its wearer their true destiny. But as Amara reached for the magical cloth, a cold wind swept through the market, extinguishing several of the mystical lanterns that lit the stalls. From the shadows emerged a figure that made both young hearts freeze with fear: Nana Asma, the legendary market keeper, whose duty it was to ensure that the cosmic balance of the midnight market remained undisturbed. The tension is building. Make sure you're subscribed because Chapter 3 will reveal secrets that will leave you speechless. Nana Asma was ancient beyond measure, her silver hair twisted into elaborate braids adorned with cowrie shells and small bones. Her eyes glowed like embers in the darkness, and when she spoke, her voice carried the authority of 1,000 storms. "Young ones," she intoned, her staff tapping against the stone ground with each word. "The midnight market is not a place for the exchange of gifts between mortals. Every item here carries the weight of destiny, and every transaction must be balanced by sacrifice. Tell me, weaver from Ghana, what price are you prepared to pay for love?" Kwame straightened his shoulders, showing the courage of his warrior ancestors. "Respected elder, I offer my gift of weaving. Should this beautiful woman accept my cloth and my heart, I will surrender my ability to create magical textiles forever. I will become an ordinary man, but one blessed with extraordinary love." Amara gasped, understanding the magnitude of his offer. "No, Kwame. Your gift is too precious to sacrifice for someone you barely know." But Mama Khadijah's words echoed in her mind. "The heart that seeks truth will find it, but only when it is ready to be found." Perhaps this moment, this choice, was the truth her heart had been seeking all along. The market keeper's eyes gleamed with something that might have been approval. "The choice is yours, daughter of Marrakesh. But remember, in the midnight market, every decision echoes through eternity."
The mystical market fell silent around them, as if the very universe was holding its breath. Amara looked into Kwame's eyes and saw not just a stranger, but a kindred spirit whose soul had been searching for hers across the vast tapestry of Africa. In his face, she saw the wisdom of ancient Ghana, the strength of the Ashanti warriors, and the gentle heart of a man who would sacrifice his greatest gift for love. "Honored Nana Asma," Amara said, her voice growing stronger with each word, "if this is truly about balance, then let me offer something in return. I am the daughter of Marrakesh's greatest spice merchant, blessed with the ability to blend scents that can heal hearts, inspire courage, and kindle love. If Kwame surrenders his magical weaving, then I will give up my gift of creating mystical spice blends. We will both become ordinary, but we will be extraordinary together." The market keeper's weathered face cracked into a smile that transformed her from a fearsome guardian into a wise grandmother. "Ah, children, you have learned the greatest secret of all. True love is not about what we can keep for ourselves, but what we are willing to give for each other." She raised her ancient staff, and the magical cloth in Kwame's hands began to glow with soft, warm light. But the spirits of our ancestors are not cruel. They reward hearts that beat in harmony with Ubuntu, the understanding that, I am because we are. Your willingness to sacrifice shows that you already possess the greatest magic of all. As Nana Asma touched the cloth with her staff, its patterns began to shift and dance. "This fabric will not take away your gifts, young ones. Instead, it will bind them together. Kwame, your weavings will now carry the essence of Amara's healing spices. Amara, your spice blends will hold the strength and beauty of Kwame's ancestral patterns. Together, you will create magic that neither could achieve alone." Can you feel the magic building? Share this video with someone you love and show them the power of true African storytelling. The market around them began to transform once more, but instead of fading away, it grew brighter and more beautiful. The other vendors, spirits and merchants from across the African continent, began to clap and ululate in celebration. The drums of the ancestors echoed from the Atlas Mountains, and the stars themselves seemed to dance in approval. Kwame wrapped the magical cloth around Amara's shoulders, and as he did, she felt the warmth of 1,000 suns and the gentle strength of ancient baobab trees. When their lips met in their first kiss, the air filled with the scent of cinnamon and gold, while threads of light wove patterns of love around them. Habib al-Bi, Amara whispered in Arabic, "Love of my heart." "Me do wa," Kwame replied in Chui, "I love you." As dawn began to break over Marrakesh, painting the sky in shades of amber and rose, the midnight market slowly faded away. But Amara and Kwame remained, standing hand in hand in the empty square, the magical cloth still wrapped around them both. Years passed, and Amara and Kwame became legendary throughout North and West Africa. Their combined talents created textiles infused with healing spices and spice blends woven with the strength of ancestral wisdom. Their love story was told from the markets of Marrakesh to the villages of Kumasi, teaching all who heard it that true love multiplies rather than diminishes our gifts. Their children and grandchildren would gather each full moon to hear the tale of the midnight market, learning that the greatest treasures in life cannot be bought or sold, they can only be shared from one heart to another. And sometimes, on very special nights when the moon is full and the air is thick with possibility, it is said that the midnight market still appears in Marrakesh. But now it is a place where lovers come to celebrate rather than test their devotion, where the lesson echoes through the spice-scented air. Love is not about finding someone to live with, it's about finding someone you cannot imagine living without. If this story touched your heart like the warm African sun, subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, and share your own stories of love and destiny in the comments below. Remember, every story shared keeps our beautiful African traditions alive for future generations. Until our paths cross again under the storytelling moon, may your hearts be filled with Ubuntu and love.